Okay, is everybody ready to get playing? So today we are going to play with the gel press. So this week, Brutus Monroe is collaborating with Gel Press, which is a lot of fun. And I am by no means an expert. I do have a lot of fun playing with it. Hi, Robin. So I hope that you'll be patient with me and enjoy the experimentation as we go along. And we'll play with a few of the things that I received to play with, and a few things that we have on the site. And we're just gonna go for it. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and switch my camera view. Okay, so I have had a gel press for a while. I'm still not an expert, like I said. A lot of it for me is just experimenting and seeing what works. But so you can tell which one I've had a long time, because they just aren't something that it's going to stay pretty if you want them to work nicely. The more grungy they get, the more fun you may have with them. And then we're going to play with some different mini plates. This one is, and this one, and let's see what else. Oh, I dropped this one on the floor on accident. Face down, of course. And my dog loves to sit under my table, so I had to get a couple of little stray dog hairs off. Okay. Think I got it. Otherwise, we'll just add some texture to our project, right? And then I've got this little guy. Let me show you. So I received this really fun kit. It's a Bible journaling kit that Gel Press carries on their site. And it has, well, let me show you for a minute. It's got this one that I showed you that's just a long strip. And then it's got this other one that's got these fun edges to it. And then it has, this one's one of them. It has all of these. Lots of fun. And then, like I said, this one I've had for a long time. Right now, I noticed on the Brutus Monroe site, there are several different gel plates on. They're in different, what's the word I'm looking for? They're different dimensions than the one I've got, which is all fine. They all work. And then we are going to play with some stencils that are really fun. These are perfect, especially for these little guys. These are called texture tiles, and I have to be honest, I took them all out of the packaging, so I can't remember which ones go to which package, but there's 2 available. These are right now, they're a little low on stock, but they are going to continue making these. They're not just, they're not retired or anything. So if we happen to run out, just go ahead and click the button next to it that says notify me. But this one is called Scribble Collection, and this one is called Burst Collection. And there are lots of fun stencils. I'll just show you. I'll just line them up here. You've got all of these fun textures, which for me, that's what we love about the gel press. Is it's an awesome way to add texture to your projects. And then there's a couple more. Hi, Kara. Thanks for joining today. So I think first I think we will, I've got so much here, I just want to make sure oh, let me tell you one thing. So I am not using, I mean, don't gasp in horror, but I'm not going to use Brutus Monroe paper today, and I'll tell you why. So when I'm doing gel press experimentation, sometimes I get great results and sometimes I don't. And the gel press works best, I think, with thinner paper anyway. But I don't like to use my nicer paper on it because, like I said, it's kind of a 50-50 thing. I use this. This is a 65-pound cardstock, and I don't have a particular brand that I love. I just grab what I find on special or what I have in my stash. But I just grabbed a little stack of this, and we're gonna start, I think, with. Let's start with this guy. I'm going to move this one out of the way for a minute. So we're going to use this long piece, and it looks like, I think I cleaned it, but I may not have. But that's okay. That's the fun thing. It'll be a surprise if I didn't clean it. So we're going to go ahead and add several different mediums. We're going to play around with a bunch of them today. We're just, like I said, we're going to have fun. We're just going to experiment. And this is something, I know too many people who have one of these in their craft stash that have either, you know, they may have the small ones, they may have a big one, but for some reason, I know that sometimes people are intimidated by gel press. Now, like I said, I am no expert whatsoever, but I will tell you that the more you play, the more you learn, right? And if you're using the cheaper, just 65-pound cardstock, what have you really got to lose, right? And I will also tell you this, if you don't like your first pull, save your papers and just keep pulling. I will tell you that some of my favorite ones are the ones that I clean my brayer off with. I just like, sometimes I just think the funky, weird ones that I get from just cleaning stuff off are cool. And if you don't like those, you can always paint over those. So just don't take it too seriously. Just enjoy yourself. That's what crafting is all about, right? So first I think we will start off with some velveteen glaze. I'm going to use, now I know this right now, there might not be a lot of this on the site right now, and it's because they are going through a repackaging, but it will be up. I got confirmation today that they should be up in about a week. So just make a mental note that you're going to need some velveteen glaze. This is just one of the many things you can use on the gel press.
Mary said, "Love play with the gel press. You gotta start somewhere."
Carrie said that? Mary said that. Mary, isn't it fun? And like I said, if you don't take it too seriously, if you just enjoy, I will say this, it's a good idea to really, it's not going to hurt anything to have a piece of paper and a pen nearby to kind of write your steps, because it is, most of the time when I'm using it, I am just playing around and I am just kind of experimenting, and then I'll see something, I'll love the result or something, and I'll be like, now what did I do again? So it's probably not a bad idea anyway, just to have something like that next to your, wherever you're crafting anyway, just for anything you're doing. Good to have somewhere you can just write notes. Okay, so I did not need very much of the velveteen glaze at all. And I will tell you that I'm going to use this too. So first off, we're just going to take our paper, and most of the time when I do gel press, I will put the paper on top of the gel press. And I think I'll do that here, at least for the first one, and we'll just see how it goes. These smaller ones, you can kind of mess with them both ways, I think. Okay, so let's see. A lot of times the first pull is really heavy, and you might actually prefer the second pull. But I'm going to try to keep this a little bit more uniform than I usually would. It doesn't have to be exactly uniform, because of course I have less product on my press right now, but I'd like it to be a little more subtle of a difference between the two as we go up. So now I'm just going to go over the top of that one, and see, now I'm doing it. I'm putting the press onto the paper so I can see where I am putting it. And so every time I do this, there's going to be less product on my brayer, which is kind of nice. I like to use all that I can so I'm not wasting product. Well, that one will be an interesting one. And remember, the gel press is all about texture. So honestly, it's pretty hard to mess something up to the point where you don't want to use it. You know what I'm saying? Even if you don't use it now, you might use it later. And then on this, I'm even going to do this. Just kind of clean off my brayer a little bit. And that's just something I like to do. You don't have to do that. Okay, so now that I just cleaned all of that off, I'm thinking I probably should have left just a tiny bit. Just a teeny tiny bit. Like, I'm just putting in my spatula, and now I'm just going to almost take everything off of it, because I want a super thin layer. Okay, so we're just going to spread this out really, really thin. Another thing, here's the thing, for me anyway. When I do gel press stuff, I like to just devote my whole space, a good hour or so, just to spend time doing it because, and it does take up a lot of space and it is a little messy. And so I like to just kind of go for it. If I'm going to do it, I'm going all in. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to obviously do it that way, but that is what I find works for me. So now you can either do this, you can either wipe it off or you can, I'm just going to actually use another piece of paper. I just want to move that so I don't put it on top of it. And I'm just going to use this as my brayer cleaner paper. But see, I even like the way that that looks. I like the uneven, just kind of fun, rough texture. It'll be interesting to see what it looks like by the time we're done today. Okay, so now I think we will go ahead and add some texture to this. So I'm going to try to stay busy while one thing dries. I might go to something else and then come back to it. So it might be a little crazy today, but I think it'll be fun. So hang in there with me today. Okay, so I've got my stencil on here and the product is holding it on. The gel press itself has kind of a stickiness to it that keeps things where you want them to be. And I'm thinking I'm either going to use some liquid acrylic or velveteen glaze. I'm just debating on which one I want to use. Let's try the fluid acrylic. Now this comes in the ATC kit. This isn't something that is currently available to buy any other way. So if you do enjoy the gel press, oh my goodness, imagine the trading cards you can do with those. But that's a great way to get this fluid acrylic. You'll have to excuse my puppies. Their buddies are outside. And they think that they need to bark right along with them. They're so tough. Now, one thing I've noticed about the fluid acrylic on the gel press, as opposed to regular just acrylic paint, is it does beat up a little bit more, which I personally don't mind. I kind of like that, but just a little FYI. To me, it's just another way to get more texture. And honestly, for what I'm doing here, it's not going to matter because you're not going to see the whole design of the stencil. We're going to try something kind of fun. If it works. You know, we're live, so you never know what's going to happen. I have to be prepared for whatever. So again, here we've got this extra product we can either use on our paper or whatever. We're just gonna do this, which actually I meant to use it on my other paper, so all the more surprising, all the more experimental. I meant to put this on my other one. That's okay. It's on this one now. Okay, so now we're going to add, I think we'll just flick a little bit of Distress Oxide on this. I don't want to spray it because I don't want that much. I just want it to be a little bit more subtle. Don't want it to take over the whole thing. And I'm kind of letting that dry just a little bit. So I'm going to set that aside for a sec, and I'm going to wipe off my surface, my glass mat here. And I'm going to start on something else for a second while that dries. I'm going to use my stencil. This does take up some space, so make sure you have a nice amount of space cleared off, whether it be on your table or your regular craft space. so that you have plenty of room to work, because there's nothing more frustrating than feeling just crowded. So I'm going to start this one with a little bit of white paint. And that's probably even more paint than I need. Am I missing any comments? Sorry guys, I'm doing a lot of talking. Feel free to ask any questions or share any gel press tips you might have. Okay, so now I'm just going to peel that off and set that aside to kind of dry up a little bit. And then you can use your stencil. Where's that one piece that I had? I'll just use this one. This one will probably make more sense. So here's another one that I've just been cleaning off on. You can just wipe it off on here a little bit. Like I said, it's all about the texture. It doesn't even have to look like anything necessarily, which is good because this one doesn't really. And I'm just going to clean that off a little. I'm actually going to just throw this in. I've got a little bin of water. So I did just a really quick job on that. I didn't get super thorough on that. And so then we've got this paint left on here again. Do we want to use that up? I think we should. Let's just throw it on this one too. And then I'll probably just go ahead and wipe this one off because I've kind of been through a lot already. Okay. Another fun thing about that is about the using your brayer is sometimes like when you already, I could have used my big gel press. If you just spray some water, you can keep getting pulls just to get some texture and some beading, and I personally love it. Okay, so let's see which one is closest to being dry. That one is very nearly dry. And this one I think is close enough. We're gonna use this one now. Okay, so I'm just gonna add a little bit of white paint. I think maybe 4 drops. Whoops. I guess I didn't need to wipe the brayer off that bad anyway. Oh well. And I'm not necessarily trying to keep this pattern. Sometimes you are, sometimes you're not. But on this, I'm not really trying to keep the pattern underneath. You can let it dry all the way, and the longer you let it dry, the more it should stay intact, the pattern. Okay. So I have a little more paint on there than I like, but we're going to do it anyway. So I think I might do just a light pull. Usually I like press, but I don't want to press very much. I'm just kind of trying to get a little bit of that paint off. It took more than I even meant to. So let me grab our paper that we've been working on. And we may get an interesting result with that because it took more than I expected it to. But let's see what happens. So we've got some fun texture going on. We can put that there. Do another one here if we want. So we can just keep building that texture however you want. So now I think I might use a little bit of this to kind of, we'll get this other side going. And then I like to do a full sheet and then cut it into 4 so I can get 4 card fronts. And I'll show you what I was talking about with the water. So I'm just gonna spray this down. And my brayer still has quite a bit of paint on it. And you can see it kind of beads up and has just kind of a fun texture to it. And there's a little bit of tint still from the pink. So it might or might not show up. Let's see.
Donna says hi.
A little bit. Hi, Donna. Okay. So we're going to let that dry for a bit. And let's see. Maybe we'll try something else for a minute. Or maybe, let's see. Yeah, let's get some more colors on this. So one of the easiest ways to use your gel press is just to use, I like to use the Chroma Mist spray or aqua pigments. They're also another great option. And I'm just barely putting any on. I put 2 squirts from pretty far away, putting a little bit of water on there. And I'm just going to rub that around a little bit. And I like that I still have just a little bit of that white paint. And let's see what that does. So we got quite a bit of texture there. I'm going to do it again so we can do some down in the middle of that a little bit.
Donna asked if you had a great birthday.
Donna, I did have a great birthday. Thank you so much for asking. I really, seriously, I was so touched by all of the sweet messages on Facebook, and I definitely feel blessed, for sure. All right, I think, do we want to add one more maybe right there? Honestly, I think what I'll do for that one, I'm just going to use my glass mat. And we might need a little bit more water. Just to loosen that liquid up a little bit. And then I think I might just go over it a little bit this way. That kind of tied it in. So that works for me. Does that work for you guys? So far, so good. Maybe we should try some more texture down here. Let's play a little more. Except I need that one to dry so that we can do the next step, right? And this guy, I've let dry too long. Let me put that in its soapy water so that I can get that clean. We don't need that one right now though, so that's okay. We can try a different stencil. So Brutus Monroe certainly has plenty of stencils to choose from to mess around with on your gel press. Does anybody have any questions so far or any comments they want to make? All right, let's clean this guy off a little bit. And the other funny thing about the gel press is even if you do the same thing, or at least do what you think is the same thing you did the last time, you just have to kind of expect that it's going to be unique every time. It's pretty hard to duplicate the same thing over and over, at least for me. Okay, let's do, I kind of just want to add a little bit of, I think we'll just add a little bit of texture, but I don't think I'm going to use the stencils on that part. Let's just do what we did on the other side basically, but I'm just going to use paint this time. And I'm just going to water it down a lot. I'm going to kind of push that off because we're going to probably use it right off of the glass mat anyway. And I'll start down at the bottom. kind of work our way up. You see, it's pretty subtle. But it does add some texture. And that one's a little bit more dramatic. I can see I need to move my gel plate up a little bit. Gel press. Okay. And let's do one more down here. And then we'll set this guy aside to dry. I think that works. What do you guys think? Pretty simple. You can get as fancy and do as many layers as you want. What was that?
I like it.
Well, thank you, Darren. All right. So I'm just going to clean up a little bit.
Mary said looks good.
And we're going to get on with our other one. And I had to wait a little bit because I had to wait for that paint to dry to show you the next step. So let's see if we can just, here, we'll just add this to our,
Very impressive.
Thanks, Robin. We'll just use this paper again to just kind of get the little bits off of our brayer. Okay, back to this guy. So now that the white has pretty well dried, let's add some black. What do you think? Ooh, that came out fast. Hopefully this paint is okay. It was on the moving truck, so it got pretty hot before we moved in. So it's kind of thin, but hopefully it'll work. So the nice thing is the bottom layer kind of pulls up the top layer when you go to use it. So let's see what we want to use this on. I actually have a couple of panels that I did already. So let's try this one. Let's see how it works on this guy. We just do it in the middle. Should we do it to the side? Maybe we'll do it just kind of, let's do it up at the top, and then we can add.
Hello?
Candy did?
Yes.
Hi, Candy. Let's see how this works. Everybody hold your breath, and we'll see if it made a nice print. There, that's kind of fun, huh? Now, another thing that you can do when you have something like this, I think we'll just add one down here with ink, and then maybe when we make a card, we'll just add a little circle sentiment in the middle. And I don't know that I'm going to really get a lot of projects done today.
She said she loves it.
Candy did?
Yes.
Thanks, Candy. Let's try some of this purple. Hopefully that's a good shade for this. Oh, that's a little bright. Let me see if I've got a little bit more of a plum. Maybe let's see which one of these. I've got a couple other options here. I'm thinking maybe the Dusty Concord. Yeah, that one looks better. So I'm going to I could just do it directly on there, but I think it might, let me see. We'll probably still need to use the brayer to just kind of smooth it out. And if you have any paint or anything left on your gel press, I wouldn't recommend that, but you could always use your glass mat and then do it. Does that make sense? Dip it into your pile on your glass mat. Oh, I haven't cleaned this guy off. Like I said, there's a lot of mess involved, but it's a lot of fun. Let's see. I kind of want to use
Ellen says hi.
Hi, Ellen. Thank you for joining us today. Let's see if I've got a different brayer so I can have two of them rolling. I do. We'll just get our backup brayer. Okay. You know, I think I may have taken too much off. So let's actually...
Ellen asked if yesterday was your birthday.
Yesterday was my birthday. Okay, let's see what we think of this. I'm just going to peel this thing off. Well, that might have thrown us off a little. Let's see if I can...
She said happy birthday.
Thank you so much. I just didn't have a lot there, and that's okay too. That's kind of what is so fun about the gel press, is you just have... It's artsy and fun, and you just kind of, like I said, don't take it too seriously. So I think I would just add something here. What I'll do is I'll just make a bunch of fun things today, and I'll make some cards and I'll post them on Friday. Here's one I made already that I just I used this little guy, and I used it with some paint and with some ink. That made it a little more opaque. This one.
That's a tiny gel press.
What was that?
Ellen said that's a tiny gel press.
I know, isn't it cute? It's from the Bible journaling gel press pack that Gel Press sells on their site. This one is one that I used this, and I went ahead and I used the velveteen glazes with that, and I believe it was this stencil, and did some pulls on that. I think we should try something with, let's try something with this. I'm just waiting for it to dry, because if I try to cut it, maybe we'll just not
Your
cut
light
it.
is washing things out, Shannon.
What?
Your light is washing things out.
My light is? Maybe I'll pull it up a little bit. Oh, I see. Wonder which light that is. It really is washing things out, isn't it? That's a little better, right?
Yeah, a little better.
Okay.
You can't see any white. It just totally split it out.
Hopefully that helped. Sorry, guys. Thanks for saying something, Darren. Oh, I want to show you this one. This was kind of fun. So, I wouldn't say that this was necessarily successful. I kind of think it's fun, and I'm probably going to use it anyway. But this was a whole bunch of velveteen glazes with 6 of the stencils, all at the same time. And then I just put some, I actually had started with white paint, and then I put the velveteen glaze on, and then I went over it with black after I took all the stencils off.
I love this one.
Isn't that kind of fun? It's funky, huh? But that's what I'm saying. That's what's so fun about it. You just don't know what to expect. I expected there to be more black. There's not a lot of black, but I think that it's kind of nice that way too.
Mary says way cool.
See? You guys just have to experiment. So this, I can do something similar right now really quick. We have some time. Let's grab some of our stencils. So I know I've said before, I get a little bit nervous when I don't have everything just ready to go, and like I usually like to know for sure how everything's gonna turn out. And I just don't have that luxury when I do the gel press. So when I do a gel press one, it makes me a little bit more nervous. So thank you for your kindness. It's an experiment right before your eyes, that's for sure. Okay, so what I did on that one, I will just do again really quick. First thing we're gonna do is, actually let's use this. This has mostly got paint on it already. So I'm gonna skip the white paint.
Mary said create your own ending.
That's right, create your own ending. And I probably won't have the very same order. I don't even know which ones I used. I guess I could do it the same way. Yeah, let's mix things up. And then let's do this guy over here. So I'm putting the little holes down at the bottom and up at the top so that they don't interfere with our pattern. Does that make sense? I wouldn't want to put it like that because then there would be a hole. So I'm turning them both this way so that the holes are on the outside. And the one that's being cleaned probably would have been good there. That's okay. We can adapt. And this one, I think we'll just do the hole on the side because we don't need it any other way because it's not going to show up anyway. And should we do this guy or this guy? I think I like this guy. Okay. It's all in the camera. I just wanted to make sure I was positioned okay. Darren's pretty good to tell me, but I forget to look up sometimes. Okay, so now we're just going to take a bunch of different colors of our velveteen glaze and just go to town on it. So let's actually start with yellow. I usually like to go light to dark. And I'm not trying to be precise. I'm just dabbing a little color here and there because we're going to brayer it anyway. It's all going to run together anyway. So I'm just trying to kind of space it out so that it's not all the same color in the same spot. And maybe a little bit right there. All right, so there's our yellow for now. I'm just going to use a paper towel. You want to have paper towels handy. That is for sure. And or baby wipes. Just going to wipe off my spatula with a paper towel. Now I'm just going to add a little bit of orange. This is called Pumpkin Patch. Okay, and now wipe off my spatula. Let's put on some of, this one is called Pink Flamingo. It's my favorite color of all of the velveteens, and I love lots of them, but a little bit fond of this one. It's kind of a Barbie pink, huh? I don't know what that says about me, but I own it. I like it. I think I'll put just a little bit more pink. Put a little bit down there. Okay. And now,
I'm helping by saying squish and splat and squash.
I appreciate your help. That is good help. Okay, so this one's called Lima Bean, and I love this green. Isn't that a pretty green? You can tell I like it because it's looks like I need to restock. Looks like I was a little stingy with my stuff. I might have to reapply a little bit. Just wanted to make sure there was room for everything. Okay.
Need a blue.
Yep, blue is next. This blue is called Blueberry Bushel. Again, such a pretty color. I love the velveteen glazes. I love the vibrant colors, and there's so many things you can do with them. Ooh, be careful not to muddy your product. I just about did. Thankfully, I caught myself in time. And I think we might just have to add one more color. What do you guys think? Need a purple in there, huh? So we will add, this one is called Happy Heather.
I love those bright, cheery colors.
I do too, Dawn. Dawn or Donna? Darren? Darren.
Donna.
Okay, Donna, sorry.
Didn't hear you. Sorry.
That's okay, I didn't hear you.
I didn't hear you till the mic caught up yet, so.
Gotcha, makes sense. Okay, we'll set that there so I don't just keep grabbing them. Okay, so I'm just gonna take this right off the lid. This is a pretty purple too. And I'm gonna wipe this off just because I need to reapply. And I'm gonna go right in my jar this time. Okay. So we got some crazy going on right now, but it's gonna be all awesome in a minute. So let's use our brayer. And I'm actually going to grab this lovely piece again so that I can have something to kind of clean off on. Now, if you use a clean piece of paper, you can get some pretty cool effects just using your brayer as well. We may have maxed out that piece. Grab this one. This was more fun anyway because you can see, let me grab it. You can see all of the fun color that you can get. So I'll keep that because I may use that. Especially if you're a fan of ATCs. It's a good way to use your prints. Especially because sometimes you may not like the whole sheet, but you might like one little spot that turned out really cool. Move that out of my way.
Heather says hi.
Hi, Heather. All right, I think we just about have that. Let me just switch this over. Ooh, look how, I can't wait to show you this piece of paper. I know it's a little bit off camera because I just only have so much space. Look how cool that turned out. Totally can use that. And that is our sheet to just mess around with. Okay, so now we're going to take off all of our stencils. And I am going to make a quick run to the soap bucket. Okay, let me just throw those in the bin. Okay. And now, I would let this dry for a little bit because we want to get all of that goodness on there, right?
Ellen says, ooh, I want to put that on paper.
Ellen, isn't it fun? So now let's go back to this one while this one dries a little bit more. Just gonna move the whole plate. Otherwise, I will put everything into it.
Mary said that cleanup sheet looks almost as cool as the project.
I think so too, Mary. I think it's so fun. I don't know, I always like those ones just as much. Okay, so let's use this one. It's still a little tiny bit damp, so hopefully it doesn't tear when I go to cut it. So we'll go ahead and cut that to card size. And I love to just have, I have a whole box of prints like this that I think I'm just going to spend, maybe I'll do a live one day where I just spend time making a bunch of cards from one sketch or something, just using all of my gel prints. Does that sound interesting at all? I don't know. Okay, so I like how this one kind of just showcases, all of them have a little bit of that texture, but none of them have all of it, which is cool, I think. And then, let's see, we can do something fun with this. Do we want to use that little guy? I think we could use this little flower. Let's use this flower with, let's see what this color looks like. Let's see how it looks with this color. Ooh, that might be a little too much. That is redder than I thought. Maybe we'll just do a little bit so we can just get more texture again. But I don't want that whole thing. And I may even, where's my crazy spot? Here's my crazy clean off sheet. Maybe we'll just do one little dab so it's a little bit less vibrant on there. And how's the coral look? Coral might work.
Ellen says this is Indigenous Awareness Month. That looks like a bit native to my eye.
Oh, that's cool. It does kind of have that flair to it with all those zigzaggy lines, huh? Okay, I'm thinking this color is our winner. This is Worn Lipstick.
I see Wilson.
Yes, you can probably see Wilson in most of these, huh? That's hilarious. I kind of see Wilson right there. Is that what you were looking at? Oh, you are funny. Okay, let's see what happens if we do this. I have no idea what's on this brayer right now. We've got some smushy stuff going on. And I think we're going to need more than that. Actually, let's just get this wet. You gotta love water. Loosen up our ink a little bit. Sorry, I know it's a little bit off camera. All right, I think what I'm gonna do, well, let's just see. Apparently I'm making it up as I go along still, right? So we're just gonna hope for the best on this one. I think it needs to be braided a little bit. Let's see what it does. Everybody ready? Hold your breath. It's not gonna show the whole thing. I can see it's gonna be really subtle, which I think might be kind of fun. So we've got one there. I like that it's just a subtle background. It's not taking up the whole center of attention, you know what I mean? It's just adding some texture. That one could have been a little bit better. Let me just see if I can get a little bit more complete of a pull from that one. The trick will be lining that one up. Do you guys think I can do it? I'm gonna try. Let's see how we do. You did all right. What was that?
I think you did it.
Thanks, Darren. I appreciate your confidence in me. I think we've about got that. I don't think we have a lot more space. We'll try maybe one last part of one. Just a little tiny one. I think that's good to go. We'll put something over in here. But just again, playing around. Okay. Let's try that last one that we were working on. Let me just clean up my mess and we'll take that last pull and then I think we'll call it good for today. And then we'll see what I can come up with in the next couple of days and I'll post something on Friday. How about that? And I don't know if I would let it dry all the way. It wasn't all the way dry before, but it was quite a bit drier than this is. Definitely wouldn't want to use your heat tool on your gel press. That would, I'm sure, damage your gel press. So just takes patience on this one. And so this one's probably going to look completely different than this one because, like I said, it's not all the way dry. So this will be fun to see. I'm trying to roll kind of light so I can keep it as close to intact as possible. And remembering the first pull. So I pulled once before I did that one. That was the second pull. So usually I like the second pull better than the first. Let's look and see how we do this time. So I'm just going to use a blank sheet first. Not sure what that little thing is. Let's see how this one looks. So this one gives us a really dark, fun one. But this is fun because you could do some sanding or whatever, and you could, if you wanted to get down to the color more, gives you some options there. And then let's pull that second one and see what we have left. So I'm going to push pretty hard because we want to get all of the product we can off of the press. Now I should point out a couple things. One, if you have not signed up for Staycation, you have until I think Friday, and it's selling out fast. So don't miss out on that. It should be amazing. And let's see, what else did I want to tell you? Oh, there is a design team call out. So go ahead and check that out. We are definitely looking for some fun people to be part of our inspiration team. And that deadline, you need to have all your submissions done and everything by the 19th. And I'm trying to remember what the third thing was. Oh, I talked about the gel press collaboration. The other thing I did want to tell you, so go ahead and check out our Instagram and our Facebook pages to see a whole bunch of projects using the gel press. And then also, I did want to tell you that there is a cleaner that I don't happen to have. I haven't tried it yet, but Brutus Monroe does make a gel press cleaner and conditioner. See, I still like that. I think that's really cool. I think this one I like, in some ways I like it even more because they look like little shadows. So this one actually is pretty similar to this one. Has a little less black on it, but I think it's really fun. I like the way that turned out. So stay tuned and you'll see what I do with this. Okay? All right, I'm gonna go ahead and flip my camera back the other way. Thank you so much for joining me. I know it was kind of a weird one today because I don't have a finished project, but I will definitely get one up on Friday for you, maybe a few up. And I hope that you maybe just got inspired to try out some new techniques, something new and fun. And don't be afraid. Don't let your fear keep you from trying out something new. I mean, we just totally played around today and I personally had a lot of fun. I hope you did too. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I will have something different for you next week. Bye.